Live from the KDAL studios at Lake and Superior Street in downtown Duluth, it stars Over the Prairie with 8-time Minnesota Music Award winner Paul Metsa.
And I wish I could see stars over the prairie, stars over the prairie tonight.
Featuring cool people from all walks of life. Check out previous show podcasts at KDAL610.com. The phone lines are open at 218-722-0839. Now, here's Paul Metsa.
And I wish I could see stars over the prairie, stars over the prairie tonight.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is a beautiful day up here in Tilt Town. This is your host of Stars Over the Prairie, Paul Metsa, with my wingman, Chris Allen. We've got a great show. 3 musical guests today. 4, actually, if you consider the bass player, and we always have to consider the bass player.
Always consider the bass player.
Yeah, right.
He can screw up your song faster than anybody.
Next to the sound man.
Right.
That's my buddy Chris. What do we do here on Stars Over the Prairie? We have stars, people that are going to be stars, people that used to be stars, people that don't want to be stars, and people sometimes that just like to grab a cold one, go outside at night, and look at the stars. It is just a gorgeous day here in Tilt Town, broadcasting on the big KDAL, 610 AM, 103.9 FM, and the Zenith City by the Unsalted Sea here in the Big K Studio, 237 somersaults down the hill from Bob Dylan's childhood home. Yes, we've got a music palooza today. We've got 2.
I think you just invented a word.
Let's get a hold of the Copyright Office. Let's copyright that.
No, trademark it. Do what Gene Simmons from Kiss does all the time. Trademark it. It's yours. Every time somebody uses it, you get paid.
Let's do that as soon as, we've got commercial breaks. Get on it, Mr. Chris Allen.
You got it.
We've got first up here, once we start talking, Mr. Charlie McGuire, who is just such a well-respected, long-time Minnesota folk singer, based in Minneapolis, northeast Minneapolis, to be exact. He's an old buddy of mine. He's doing a tour telling stories and singing songs of the Great Lakes, which he sailed on some of those ships, and he's doing a tour of Northeast Minnesota libraries starting next week. We're going to be talking to him and listening to a couple of his new recordings of some sailing songs. And then we have a young buck here by the name of Drew Anderson, who is with the band The Climbs, with his bass player Steve. We'll figure out Steve's last name as soon as we start yakking to him. They will be playing at a benefit I put together for Ukraine. Let's support those people that are fighting for their democracy, where we are holding on to it by our fingernails with our democracy here in the United States. That benefit for Ukraine is going to be Wednesday, May 14th, right around the corner at the Sacred Heart Music Center, a beautiful old Catholic church, reconditioned and refurbished for music. The acoustics there are great, and the benefit includes, besides myself, Paul Metsa, Mark and Nancy Rubin, Aaron Aldridge, Christopher David Hansen, John Ward and Lori Hatton, Whiskey River, Timothy Martin, Brianna Tipler, who we've had on the show, Sonia Martin, who's also been on the show, Lisa Wilson, who's also been on Stars Over the Prairie.
I'm noticing a little trend here.
The Mann Brothers, who've also been on the show. Who takes care of the Twin Ports musicians better than people here at Stars Over the Prairie?
Exactly.
Yeah, we love our homegrown musicians. Homegrown, by the way. The big festival is right around the corner, starting this coming Wednesday. Superior Siren, a great keyboard player named George Ellsworth that plays with me, in Paul Metsa and the Tilt Town Titans. The Climbs, like I just mentioned, and then a great group started in the Twin Ports in 1953. Chris, have you ever heard the Duluth Superior Harbor Masters?
Yes.
I went up to their rehearsal a couple weeks ago. I don't know how many guys they're going to bring in. There was about 15 or 20 there at the rehearsal, and it's all kind of barbershop quartet arrangements But I believe they're going to bring 10 or 12 guys down for the benefit for Ukraine on Wednesday, May 14th. Tickets are now on sale. Go to sacredheartmusic.org. Sacredheartmusic.org for the Ukraine benefit on May 14th. Hey, you Taurus people out there, if it's your birthday today, you got a pretty good year ahead. If you were born today, this is what your year is going to look like. Get serious about what's important for you without getting grim about it. Elegance and pleasure are among the important things in life, and don't let criticism or disapproval dull your joy. Pleasant times and many small kindnesses are yours to give and receive in June. Treat yourself well in October and stay happy and healthy. Don't be severe with yourself in January, especially if in the service of others. Lighten up and enjoy more playful times and social times in February and March. The last month holds sparkling new ideas and pursuits that at first might look like duds, but enjoy a lively, surprising, and productive year. Not bad. If
all these sound good that you read. We never get one that says you're going to be hit by a bus tomorrow. Get your affairs in order.
You are not going to hear that. It's nothing but happy talk here. And you know where happy talk, when the weather guy starts talking to the sports guy on the television, you know where that started, don't you?
No.
That started in Duluth, Minnesota.
Really?
With Jack McKenna.
Jack McKenna. Jack McKenna would... he saw a few stars over the prairie in his time, and I think that's why that started. Because, I don't want to start anything that nobody knows about, but, once he would come back from dinner, let's say, he was very talkative.
Yes. There was a long-time legendary newscaster in Minneapolis, Dave Moore. I just loved him. I mean, he was on the air for 40-plus years. And, yes, when he would go out to Peter's Grill before the 10 o'clock news and stop by one of the local watering holes. And occasionally he was a little livelier as well for that last segment. But if you Google Happy Talk, you'll see Jack McKenna's name. He was a long-time newscaster.
I remember Jack. I've met Jack many, many times as a radio nerd.
Great guy. He was kind of like an Ed McMahon character.
Yes, he was.
And
it's like Herb Brooks and Ed McMahon all together.
and I follow him. I was a big fan growing up. Watching him when you growing up there in the Queen City of the Iron Range, Virginia, Minnesota, my hometown. But we'd watch Jack, and then when he retired, he went from Duluth, Minnesota, and went down to Duluth, Georgia. Maybe it was something to do with he had already had his envelopes printed ahead of time and just had to cross out the street name and the zip code. But anyway, Jack started Happy Talk. If you don't believe me, Google it. Hey, famous birthdays today. Way back in 121 A.D., the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius was born, died in 180 A.D., so not really that long of a life.
No.
Now, John J. Audubon, of course, the Audubon Society, all those bird freaks out there know John J. He was an American ornithologist, born in 1785 in Haiti. He was also a painter and died in 1851. Do you ever go up to Hawk Ridge, Chris?
Yeah, every once in a while.
I really enjoyed it. I had two friends, the serious birders, Missy and Camille Bedouin. Camille plays for the Radiators, has since the beginning. Boy, those guys started in New Orleans back in the 70s. And I had a chance to play with the band a couple of times, and Camille sat in with Cats Under the Stars and myself. But they're serious birders, and every fall they make the trip up to Hawk Ridge, and I take along with them, and just fascinating to watch those birds going south. Other famous people: Frederick Olmsted, born in Hartford, Connecticut.
Do you know he is a distant relative of mine?
Really?
Olmsted.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He was born in 1822 in Hartford, Connecticut. He was the American writer. Do you know what he did?
I don't know much about him, no.
Well, your cousin and or uncle was a landscape architect.
Wow.
Now, Ludwig Wittgenstein. Now, isn't it time to bring back the name Ludwig?
Yeah.
Do you think they're doing that in Germany?
Well, Eddie Van Halen named his kid Wolfgang. We're getting close.
Good point, Chris Allen. You are on the trivia board today. He was an English philosopher, although born in Vienna, Austria in 1889. Had a nice long life, died in 1951. We have to mention Hack Wilson. That's one of the greatest baseball names I've ever heard, and I just read about it last night. Baseball Hall of Famer. He has the MLB single-season record for 191 RBIs in 1930. And he was also a Hall of Famer for the Chicago Cubs and led the American League in RBIs in 26 through 28. Born in 1900 in Elwood, Pennsylvania. Only lived to be 48. But Hack Wilson, that's a great name for anybody, no matter what.
That's a great name. That was my nickname when I played broomball, and everybody left me alone because they figured I was a hack.
You are just in tune with the info that we are sharing with our audience out there in Stars Over the Prairie Radio Land. Good for you, Chris Allen. I.M. Pei, the great Chinese-American architect, was born in 1917 in Canton, China. Passed to had a nice life.
Isn't that where the Chinese Baseball Hall of Fame is? Canton, China?
Well, it probably should be because he actually...
Sorry. I don't pay the drummer well enough to be on time.
But he also designed the JFK Library and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Really?
Have you ever been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No, but I want to go. That's the only place I haven't been.
You got to go. I was out there when I played at the tribute to Woody Guthrie's 4 or 5 day affair in Cleveland, Ohio, home of Elliot Ness, by the way, and Rod Serling. I spent some time with the great Pete Seeger, and we did a rehearsal. We did a show at the Odeon nightclub on Friday night, which was down by the waterfront, and then Saturday night and Sunday was the big show. Bruce Springsteen, Ani DeFranco, Arlo Guthrie, Joe Ely, Indigo Girls. Nora Guthrie was there with Harold Leventhal, who managed Woody, and Pete Seeger. So we're driving in a video. We're driving in a van, and I've got it on video with Pete Seeger, Harold Leventhal, Pete and his wife Toshi, and one of the greatest Dylan interpreters and great songwriter who passed too soon, my good friend Jimmy LaFave, and we're driving in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And we get out. You've seen pictures of it, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm well aware of the layout and everything.
And Pete gets out, and he actually hopscotched over this cement parking divider, looks at the building and said, "Oh, I guess he knew how to combine a circle with a square." He goes, "I'm not really a fan of modern architecture, but it's a cool looking building." So, but everybody's a critic. Hey, who else was born today? Who turns 92? The great Carol Burnett.
Really?
She was born in 1933 in San Antonio, Texas. I never picked up any bit of a Texas accent with Miss Burnett.
I think I read somewhere that she worked with a linguist or something in order to get rid of it because she wanted to sound Midwest.
Yeah, well, she sure did. Did you see her appearance on Better Call Saul in the last season?
Yeah.
Oh, she was phenomenal.
Yeah.
If you go to paulmetsa.com or if you see me on Facebook, there's a picture of me with the star of that show, Mr. Bob Odenkirk.
Wow.
I've got his phone number. We're going to have to get Bob on the show one of these days.
Oh, yeah.
Let's invite him up to Duluth and get him on the air.
Sounds good to me.
So, once again, you're listening to Stars Over the Prairie. This is your host, Paul Metsa. We have Drew Anderson and bass player Steve coming up playing live at about 22 or quarter to 11. And then the great Mark Gartman from 11:05 to noon. But right now, we're going to get a hold of one of Minnesota's finest folk singers, Mr. Charlie McGuire. Charlie's doing a great tour, a really extensive tour. I'm going to say 25 to 30 Northeast Minnesota libraries. Charlie has been a member of the Minneapolis folk scene since I moved to town. I moved to town in Minneapolis in 78. He was a stalwart folkie before that. I believe he came from the East Coast, but he's also spent some time working on the iron ore ships, a couple of them. He's written some songs, and he tells some great stories. Why don't you play, shoot up one of those songs?
The Charlie McGuire song? How about Final Lady?
That's a good one.
Here she comes, moving slow. A fine old lady with a heavy load. Here she comes, soon she'll go, sailing on the lakes to the ocean down below, down below. She's a tough boat on some rough water, brave in the spring ice and the mean season storm, sailing alone into the bay, a woman who is used to making her own way. Here she comes, moving slow, a fine old lady with a heavy load. Here she comes, soon she'll go, sailing on the lake to the ocean down below, down below. She's a homely queen, dressed in working clothes, bound and determined to get her cargo home. A woman of the world, you can see that in her face. Her lovers are all sailors who take her from place to place. Here she comes, moving slow, a fine old lady with a heavy load. Here she comes, soon she'll go, sailing on the lake to the ocean down below, down below. No one can say that she is a beauty, rust-colored as the far hills she's passing by. But when she leaves some early morning, she leaves behind a man wishing to go to her tonight. Here she comes, moving slow, a fine old lady with a heavy load. Here she comes, soon she'll go, sailing on the lake to the ocean down below, down below, down below.
That was the great Charlie McGuire. We finally tracked him down in Northeast Minneapolis, and I believe we got him on the horn. Charlie, are you there?
I'm there, Paul. How you doing?
Good, brother. What's the weather in Minneapolis today?
Oh, sunny and beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Going to be maybe 60 today, maybe 48 tonight.
I was 60 about 9 years ago.
And you lie about being 48 all the time.
Charlie,
don't we all?
Tell us a little bit about this project. You're going to be traversing around Northeast Minnesota, going to libraries. You've got an incredible lineup of libraries. What exactly is Mr. McGuire up to at those libraries?
Well, we're talking about life on the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes and the stories, the work and the legends that go on there are a very important part of our state. Just like the Mississippi River is in many of us down here, Lake Superior is in many people up there. And yet, many times these stories are unreachable. Aside from one important ship song that you'll play today, the Ballad of Tommy Woodgate, the artifacts are either long gone or, in the case of the Edmund Fitzgerald, on the bottom. So I'm a gap filler, Paul. This program is designed to fill in the gaps. You'll hear about the famous storms and the places to keep those ships safe, like the Split Rock Life Station. You'll also hear songs of regular sailors and those crewmen and women, because I was there and I can tell you the truth about that.
Charlie, now when were you on those ships? You actually were, you did some time on the Great Lakes. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I did. But I'm a professional musician. I want everyone to know that. Just like so many other people, I couldn't give up my career to go sailing on the lakes full time. So I had to find a way of getting embedded, as they say now, catching a boat, and not only that, not sitting in the owner's cabin, not sitting not dining with the captain, but working on the boat. And that was the hard part. A lot of people were going to let me ride, but not many people were going to let me work.
Right.
So I finally, when I would come to Duluth, and play, I would solicit from the stage. I would say, hey, you guys, you see the ships come and go, the boats come and go every day. Who do you know, that maybe I can catch a ride with? Finally, someone said, well, you need to talk to Davis Hellberg at the Duluth Seaway Port Authority. He's the person. So I talked to Davis, and he said, we get a lot of people who want to ride on those boats. He said, you wouldn't believe it. People stand at Canal Park and watch them go by, and they want to be there too. He said, no, I don't know if I can do it. So then he took an international trip to Senegal.
Yeah.
And he was in Dakar at a garden party, and they were talking about Minnesota, and one of the people there said, I only know one person from Minnesota.
I love it. I love where this is going.
Yeah, and Davis Hellberg said, who was that? He said, I only know one person, Charlie McGuire.
Wow, fantastic.
That's the only one. So when Mr. Hellberg got back, when Davis got back, we became, fast friends after that. He says, anybody that knows you in Africa is fine with me. He says, I'll start looking.
A buddy of mine, Eddie Gleason, who runs Carmody's Irish Pub, where I'm going to start playing again a week from tomorrow, from 4 to 6 at 308 East Superior Street, was just in a national park in Ireland, and somebody heard his American accent, and they started talking to him, and they lived in the Twin Cities, but they had a cabin somewhere on a lake a little north of the Iron Range, and then he goes, yeah, sure. They go, he goes, yeah, I run a little Irish pub in Duluth, and they said, do you have music? He goes, yeah. He goes, you ever booked Paul Metsa there? And then I had my buddy Greg Inhofer, who I'm playing actually on May 20th. We're doing a nice Dylan event, concert and conversation with Greg Inhofer. We played on all 5 tracks on Blood on the Tracks from the Minneapolis sessions. Was just down in, this is May 20th at the West Theater, by the way. I'll tell you more about it later. But he was just down at the dog park. He just adopted the little bear, this cute little black chihuahua, and hanging out and started talking to people, because if you're ever in a dog park, everybody's friendly. And it turns out that they're from Hibbing, Minnesota, and the first thing they said is, oh, you're a musician. Do you know Paul Metsa?
You're paying them.
I am not paying them. So, Charlie, where does this great tour kick off? What's your first library you're going to be doing?
The first library is part of the Arrowhead Library System, and they've got a big system, Paul. They go from Grand Rapids all the way over to Duluth and all the branches in Duluth, not only the main library, but the other 2 libraries there, then up the North Shore, and then across the Iron Range. I'll be as far north as International Falls and as far south as Cloquet.
Now,
so,
when are you in? When are you going to be in Duluth, in our area?
Yeah, I'll be in Duluth at the Central Library on Saturday, May 3rd. That'll be next Saturday, and I'm on that date at 10:30. to 11:30. And I just want people to know these are free programs, paid in part by the Legacy Amendment, for the arts, as well as from other sources. And they were arranged for me by the Arrowhead System and also by Compass, my agency down here that puts artists and people together in all different kinds of ways.
Do you have CDs for sale? Are you gonna, or what? This music we just listened to? How can people access that?
Yeah, I'm recording a new album of all the songs that I wrote while I was on the ships. The songs you're playing today, I was still landlocked. No one was giving me a ride yet. But I'm putting out a new album. It's going to be out probably by Christmas. And it's going to have the songs that, the more up-to-date songs that I wrote when I was at sea. And that's going to, I'm going to try out these songs for everybody live at 27 different locations in May. Out of the 28, so out of 28 days. So
Charlie McGuire, what is your website? How can people track you down?
Yeah, you can look at and get an idea of when I'm going to be in your town by going to www.charliemaguire.com, and that's MAGUIRE. Or you can also access the Arrowhead Library System website as well.
Well, Charlie,
I've got a little more information about it on mine.
Charlie, thank you so much for taking time. I hope we can hook up in person when you're up this way. And we are going to take us to break with one of Charlie's songs called The Ballad of Tommy Woodgate. Have a great time, Charlie, and good luck with the tour.
Hey, thanks a lot, Paul, for allowing me on today. I'll look forward to you when I get into Duluth.
Thanks, brother.
Okay, brother.
The captain was a proud man, but humble was his name. Aboard the ship Mataafa with her silver stack so plain, we broke into upon the pier in the worst I can recall, with stricken crewmen on both ends that looked badly for us all. And the wind was saying, boys, you're doomed to die. The waves were saying, boys, don't hang on so tight. But Tommy, he was saying, we'll get out of this all right. If we don't listen to that cold, stormy night. If we don't listen to that cold, stormy night. Our bunch was stranded in the stern, no shelter could we find. Trapped out in the weather, death would take us all in time. In the harbor of Duluth, we were so close.
Grey Wolf Lodge, located on gorgeous Pelican Lake in beautiful Orr, is the great getaway in northern Minnesota. Featuring affordable, modernized cabins that rent by the week or even a few days, Grey Wolf Lodge is your place to treat the family or just yourself for a relaxing time away from it all. With great fishing, yoga classes, massage, boat rentals, a sandy beach, a common gathering area with a fire pit, and the gorgeous and rustic Grey Wolf Lodge, hosts John and Carol have thought of everything for your unforgettable stay. Give them a call at 1-800-840-9653 or go to greywolflodge.com to see all that they have to offer. Grey Wolf Lodge, your home away from home in the North Woods.
I'm Zach, and I had Z-LASIK at Weiss Eye Center. I was sick of wearing glasses. I've had glasses since third grade. Dealing with the nuisance of glasses is kind of reached that point of I just need to get LASIK. I was a little nervous, but knowing now what that process all entailed, I wouldn't have been nervous if I knew. Everybody's really nice here. Not a bad thing to say about anybody. Everybody's happy, and everybody here's nice. And I mean, it's day one post-op, and I mean, it's crazy. It's a crazy.
Weiss Eye Center is the only clinic to offer blade-free Z LASIK in the Northland. To find out more and to arrange your free consultation, call 218-625-1917 today or visit weisseyecenter.com for more information. Weiss Eye Center. See the best.
If you're looking for a great hang in downtown Duluth, I highly suggest Carmody's Irish Pub. They're located at 308 East Superior Street, open Tuesday through Sunday. The host and hostess are Eddie and Liz. Eddie is a retired Chicago cop. If he happens to be in the club when you're there, talk to him. He's got more stories than I do. They've also got a great jam session every Tuesday night from 8 to 11 with Bruce Woodman. So if you're a musician, tried and true, that is well out there playing and just want to go try out some new stuff, go down and hang out with Bruce and the crew. Or if you're just up and coming, bring your horn or your stringed instrument or just want to sing. Go sit in with Bruce Woodman every Tuesday night at Carmody's Pub, 308 East Superior Street.
River City Records and Books, voted Best Record Store of 2023 in the Twin Ports by the Duluth Reader, has in stock thousands of new and used vinyl records, from classic rock to punk, grunge and metal, to hip-hop, rap, and jazz, reggae, and dub. Thousands of books, CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray, and VHS. Also a large selection of cassettes, comic books, and music magazines. Stop in and see them at 1814 West Superior Street in the friendly Lincoln Park Craft District. Open 9 to 7, 7 days a week.
Every day deserves a superior beer. Earth Rider Brewery's decorated brewers hand-select hops that lend citrus notes to the crisp and easy-drinking Superior Pale Ale. Visit Earth Rider Brewery's Cedar Lounge Tap Room on the Working Harbor in Superior for their award-winning flagship and seasonal brews on tap and to go. To find out much more about Earth Rider Brewery events, join the mailing list and locate Earth Rider Beer near you at earthrider.beer. Hold fast.
Hey, it's Curly from the Salty Dogs, and you're listening to Stars Over the Prairie with Paul Metsa.
Oh, yeah, Curly's going to be at the Ukraine benefit. That's actually Ian Mann with his brother, and which is May 14th, 7 o'clock, doors at 6. Get tickets for the benefit for Ukraine by going to sacredheartmusic.org. Some of the artists will be, besides myself, Mark and Nancy Rubin, Aaron Aldridge, Christopher David Hansen, and more. I also want to announce there's so much music going on up here in the Northland that the Silver Bay Music in the Park series is kicking off with a legendary Charlie Parr up there in Silver Bay on July 18th. Our buddy Nelson French is the president of Rocky Wall Entertainment, is putting that together. We're going to have some of his musicians on and Nelson as well. He's always listening with a warm cup of joe up there on his deck with his beautiful wife, Marilyn, overlooking Silver Bay Superior National Forest. Well, this next gentleman, one of the bands that we're going to have at the Ukraine benefit on May 14th is the legendary Whiskey River, and they played on the show, was it this last summer, Chris?
Yeah.
Last spring, yeah.
Yeah.
And a great country rock band. And one thing led to another, and one day I was cruising through my emails, and I got a little note from a fellow that said, "Hey, my name's Drew Anderson, and my uncle is Danny Naslin." Well, I'd known Danny because I opened up and blew up one of the Whiskey River amps when Cats of the Stars opened up for him in 1976 at Norman's. And I like helping my young musicians out. I used to be one at one time myself. And so he sent me, he didn't really need to send me any music because it's totally about nepotism with Paul Metsa. You know, if you know me and you want to get one of your buddies on my show, just call me.
There you go.
Wink, wink. That's how it works. But anyway, I checked out his music and I really enjoyed it. He is with us in the studio. Drew Anderson plays in a band called The Climbs. They got two of them. Drew, good morning.
Good morning.
Who's your bass player?
This is my friend Steve Gallagher on bass. Yep.
Howdy, everybody.
All right.
Gallagher starts with a D.
Gallagher.
Everybody hears Gallagher.
They hear the guy that smashes watermelons,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
They hear that guy, but that's a different family. They don't come to the family reunion.
That's real hair under that hat, by the way.
Say, Drew, so when did you come up with the band The Climbs?
So it's just Climbs, but we sort of took on that moniker maybe a year ago, and I really struggled to get behind the idea of just promoting myself as sort of a one-act sort of show, and I thought, if I come up with some sort of name that can sort of be used as like a band format, or just if I'm out and about playing, that feels better to me. So
not only that, but if you use your name as the name of the band, sometimes people think you have an ego.
Like the Paul Metsa group,
right?
Or like Paul Metsa and the Tiltown Titans.
Yeah.
Or like when I play solo on Sundays at Carmody, starting a week from tomorrow.
Good examples.
Paul Metsa's solo,
right?
4 to 6.
I'm not trying to start anything here.
That's all right. He'll fire me at the end of the show and rehire me next week.
Hell no. You ain't going anywhere, Chris Allen. So the Climb, what is Climb? Where'd that come from?
I'm
guessing gummies, but
trying to come up with a band name is just arduous, and I've been actually thinking on it for quite some time. But I was just attracted to the word and its definition being sort of a climate specific to a region, and it felt like a loose enough metaphor that I can sort of redefine it in years to come if I need to. I'd like to think that it sort of carries with it a sense of change, and as I go on playing here and been learning a lot over the past couple of years, I can definitely see my musical taste evolving, and so.
Did your uncle Danny Naslund have any influence on your playing?
Oh, for sure, yeah. In fact, I owe it to Danny for essentially learning how to play the guitar.
Really?
He still has it, this really old Gibson acoustic guitar, and that's how I started learning chords. He gave me a chord chart, and I'll never forget hacking away at that thing because the gauge was so high and my fingers were just killing me as I struggled to make the E chord or whatever. And
how long ago was that when you started hacking away at the guitar?
That was high school. That was probably like freshman.
Okay.
Yes.
So how many years ago would it?
Well, that would be like 2003. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm not as young as you might think.
You look young. Were you rocking the beard and the long hair back in high school?
No. No, that evolved too, just like everything else.
Well, let's hear a song, Drew Anderson.
Sure.
The Climb.
This kind of funny that you had that that person on talking about seafaring songs. This is also sort of a seafaring related song. I wrote it in reflecting upon this horrible tragedy in 2015 of a boat capsizing in the Mediterranean Sea with like somewhere around 800 people on it.
Wow.
So this song's called Lost at Sea.
I'll see you, brother, soon. After I cross over the ocean, I'll board a boat to Italy with 800 refugees. We still believe in lovely dreams. There's a way for me to leave. That old thread behind me, 'cause I work hard
and I won't sleep. I'll send home the extra money, and even though the boat is small, they say it will fit us all. And even though the sea is wide, say we'll make it there in time. So I need you, brother, soon, to bring comfort to my journey. You're in my dreams of that other shore, where we meet at last once more. And I still believe in lovely dreams. Oh no, the boat starting to tip. The roads have rolled. The captain's abandoned ship. I think of you. Oh, brother, think of me. Remember my lovely dreams. They'll picture us, they won't see 800 lost at sea.
Wow, that is a really beautiful song.
Thanks. We have been playing that for quite some time now. We've got a residency at the Fitker's Barrel Room.
Yeah, right. Talk about that.
Most Friday nights. Yeah, it's been this really lovely venue to play at. It's just a little bar and lounge across the hallway from the brew house in the Fitker's building.
You are speaking with the first musician that ever played at Fitker's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, back when Rod was a young man.
Heck yeah.
Rod Raymond, of course, his buddy Tim Nelson. Tim runs the Earth Rider and Cedar Lounge, where I'm going to be doing some Wednesdays in June. But yeah, both those guys, very big supporters of the Twin Ports music scene. Mm-hmm. But that is a cool. So what times on Fridays do you play there?
7 to 10.
Yeah, that's a very cool room.
Mm-hmm.
We did actually the first Ukrainian benefit 2 years ago in the big room in the back.
Sure. Yeah,
with a bunch of great musicians. Once again, The Climb, Drew Anderson and Steve Gallagher will be performing at the Benefit for Ukraine on Wednesday, May 14th, 2025, of course, at the Sacred Heart Music Center. Doors at 6, shows at 7, with other people like George Ellsworth, Superior Siren, Duluth Superior Harbor Masters, Brianna Tepler, Timothy Martin, and more. Get your tickets at sacredheartmusic.org.
Yeah, Paul, if you don't mind, I just wanted to also say I'm so appreciative of this event that you're organizing. I think something like that is super needed, and yeah, the Ukrainian crisis is something I'm constantly processing.
Oh,
and
yeah, it's amazing.
Just nice to know that we've got something local that's going to bring people together to process together.
I totally agree, and I've been doing a lot. It's kind of what folk singers do. Is we're there when the community calls, and so I'm happy to put this on once again, man. When I start to call, I've done dozens of benefits for progressive political candidates, doggy shelters, people in need, you name it. And the Ukrainian effort here that we're doing is very endearing to my heart. When you look and see what those people have suffered since the invasion of Russia, and how strong they've been, and the losses they've taken, and just what a valiant effort they put on. Americans can learn. If we would fight half as hard for our democracy as the Ukrainians are fighting for theirs, we'd be a much better country. And we are working with a group who's been on the ground in Ukraine since 2014 called Nova Ukraine. So if you can't make the show, which will also be live streamed on Wednesday, May 14th, just go to novaukraine.org and give them some money, make a donation. So how'd you meet this good-looking bass player, Steve?
Yes. It's a funny story. So Steve and I know...
Anytime you meet a bass player, it's a funny story. But go ahead.
Well, I actually originally knew Steve Moore as a guitar player. He's a phenomenal musician, multi-instrumentalist. And Steve and I are members at Gloria Dei Lutheran Church, and Steve heads up the worship band called One Bread that plays once a month every Sunday. And it's a sort of rolling cast of musicians, but Gloria Dei, which is this really cool, progressive, inclusive Lutheran church, has phenomenal musicians in its congregation, and so there's been times where we're playing on stage with maybe like 8 people. We got guitar, bass, drum, flute, sax, piano. Yeah. It's like just really cool stuff. And anyway, Steve found out that I played and roped me into it, and I really owe a lot to that band for, just getting comfortable on stage, playing together in unison, just learning how to sing into a microphone.
Right.
So anyway, done that for quite a while, and then Steve came to a couple of my early coffee shop gigs, and I didn't know it at the time, but I was playing a tune, and Steve had been recording it on his phone, and then later on that day...
Probably to steal it.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Later that day, he sends me back this recording of my song, but he had superimposed a bass line over it. And he's like, hey, I could probably play bass on some of your songs. And I was
probably not the first guy who's ever done that to, but keep going.
Yeah, so then it kind of took off from there. Yeah, so Steve and I have been playing now, I don't even know how long. Probably.
It's been a few years.
Yeah.
It's been a few years. And just to go back to the whole Climbs explanation.
Oh, sure.
I guess I would say we're the probably the most common iteration of Climbs, but Drew has there are other musical partners that filter in and out of Climbs, which was just
I heard you had a good
musical vision. So.
I heard you had a good fiddle player, but he couldn't wake up early enough to make a mid-morning show.
No, far from the truth. This guy is a phenomenal musician, and he's just booked solid all the time. And he's
going to be with you on the benefit, though, isn't he?
I don't think so. No, yeah, he's also got another show happening then. But yeah, I should speak about Cliff because his name's Cliff Nesseth. He's in a band called Pony Folk.
I've heard of those guys.
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
Yeah, with Paul Sowie.
Yep.
Paul used to play bass with me.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And actually he helped me engineer my radio show. He lived right around the corner from me in Northeast Minneapolis.
Okay.
God.
Well,
small world.
So yeah, they're like best friends. And Cliff was actually I wanted to learn piano last year. I can dink around on a piano, but I wanted to learn some more sort of chording so that I could kind of reverse engineer some of my songs. I could figure out what I'm doing so I could talk to other musicians about maybe how to join me in playing them. Anyway, I play probably as good as a third grader now, but Cliff, in the meantime, had learned about some of the other music I was doing, and he's like, hey, you know what? We should record one of your tracks. And he's got this home-built recording studio.
I'm familiar with it.
And he invited me out, and he helped. He was just amazing. Helped me get my first sort of single out there called Saltpeter. And since then, he and another good friend, Zach Baltich, on drums, came together with Steve and myself, and we did a little video project that's still in kind of editing mode right now, but that's coming out pretty soon.
Well, let's play. We got time for about a 3-minute song. What do you got for us?
We've got exactly a 3-minute song.
All right, this tune is a fun one. We'll see how it plays out here acoustically. It's fun when it's amplified, but this is a song about the downtown Y. I love it.
I go there 4 times a week.
Yeah. It's got this interesting quality, I think, being where it is and being there for as long as it has been, of being just sort of kind of a catch-all for the community.
Usually I go for 10 cannonballs in a sauna, but anyway, Drew Anderson and Steve from The Climb.
The sidewalk steam, it's too cold to stop. Jamal's gonna make it to the doors first, 'cause he's got his gym shoes already on. It's never gonna change. Our parents did the same thing. We're going to the courts to play, gonna take our shots, gonna make our dream. Weekend's long and there's nothing to do for fun. So pack your ball and beg your mom, make the bus on time for the downtown Y. And Casey's got a lover now, they're gonna make it count. Gonna work the evening hours, gonna clean out the men's showers, where the old-timers talk loud as they shave their faces. Don't understand the new pronouns, still Casey smiles for their social graces. The weekend's long, but it sure pays to have this job. I'll call you in, I get off. Can you pick me up at the downtown Y? Kim's gotta settle a bet. He's got one more set to bench.
Live, it stars Over the Prairie with 8-time Minnesota Music Award-winning songwriter, musician, author, and historian Paul Metsa. Check out previous show podcasts at KDAL610.com. Now, here's Paul Metsa.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Stars of the Prairie. This is your host, Paul Metsa, with my wingman, Chris Allen. We've just got some great musicians on the show today. Mark Gartman is coming up playing live. We're going to hear some great tracks, and he's going to tell us about his career. There's not a venue in town Gartman hasn't played. I've seen him several times since I moved to Tiltown, and really enjoy his music and his vibe. We've got some stuff coming up once again. The Benefit for Ukraine, featuring myself, Mark and Nancy Rubin, Aaron Aldridge, Christopher David Hansen, John Ward, Laurie Hatton, Whiskey River, Timothy Martin, Brianna Tepler, Sonia Martin, Lisa Wilson, the Mann Brothers, Superior Simon George Ellsworth, The Climb, and the Duluth Superior Harbor Masters. It's Wednesday, May 14th. At 7 o'clock, doors at 6. Get your tickets at sacredheartmusic.org. Benefiting Nova Ukraine, who's on the ground in Ukraine. Been there since 2014, giving humanitarian aid in every way. Ukraine needs it, and they do need it.
You forgot to mention the most important part of the whole show. The host of the show.
The host will be the phenomenal, see him in person, Mr. Chris Allen will be hosting the whole show. Chris, it's nice of you to take time to do that. No,
of course.
I mean, it's we've had 12 acts. It's going to be a lot of moving parts, so we really appreciate you taking part of the benefit.
I mean, you can bring my guitar.
We've got enough acts, Chris. You're not going to break any music on my big gig. Speaking of big gigs, I'm doing Dylan Week starts here the third week of May. The Master's going to be 84 years old on May 24th. There's a bunch of stuff going on. This is not part of Dylan Week per se, but it's part of Dylan Week in the grandest sense. I'm doing Metsa Does Dylan on May 20th with Greg Inhofer, who played on all 5 tracks on Dylan's Blood on the Tracks. It's best-selling records. And my longtime harmonica player, Sonny Earl. We are going to be an opening week of the Alhambra Theater, which is next to the West Theater. They're over in West Duluth. It's when Bob Boone, the owner of the Reader, rehabbed the West Theater. The space next to him was a Mexican restaurant that went out of business. Well, he started rooting around in there and found a theater that was opened in 1913 called the Alhambra.
Wow.
And they've been redoing it, and it is phenomenal. It's going to be the hottest stage in town. It seats only 60, and they're going to have some music in the front as well. They've got they did some my friend Mark Escala, who was the VHS class of 1972, harvested sconces and lattice from the old Goodman Auditorium, my high school in Virginia, Minnesota. That decorates the place. They've got stuff from the old Denfeld. It's like walking back in time. They're going to have other acts there, and so that's going to be another great venue in town. So that's Metsa Does Dylan on Tuesday, May 20th with Greg Inhofer and Sonny Earl. We're just putting it together. There'll be more info at paulmetsa.com. Bob Boone, he's been running the Duluth Reader for 27 years. I just got my Judy Collins tickets, first week of June down there. The Bruce Coburn show next Friday is sold up, and I'm getting in. I'm telling Boone right now, I'm getting in. I'm getting into that show. I opened up for Bruce a couple of times back in Minneapolis, and so if I've got to go through his booking agent or his manager, I'm getting into that show.
I think you would be at the point where you could just say, I'm with the band, and then walk in.
I am the band.
Yeah.
They got Monroe Crossing there at the West Theater at 4:15, and my old buddy G.B. Layton on April 16th. No, is it 4:15? No, excuse me, 5:15 for Monroe Crossing, 5:16 for G.B. Layton. And of course, Homegrown starts the shows at the West End on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, the 30th. They have Stardust Collective, Emily Havoc, who we just had on a couple of weeks ago, and then Big Wave Dave, and
the Ripples.
And the Ripples, they're going to be on. And this man, I believe, Mark Gartman, is going to be playing some shows over Homegrown. He plays all the time. He's a hard guy to get a hold of. But we're going to listen to a little recorded Gartman and then talk to him, and he's going to play in person. that is some beautiful music by our guest, Mark Gartman, called Get So Low, off the CD, Over the Moon. Is this brand new, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thanks. He just gifted me one. Mm-hmm. Man, that, seeing you holding that acoustic guitar, I actually listed some of the tracks that you sent me, but man, that is some gorgeous stuff.
Well, thanks kindly, Paul.
What, man, I'm going like, geez, I hear a little David Bowie in this stuff. Who's your influences?
Geez, my influences? Well, you know what? I think the shortest answer to that is the bass player, keyboard, piano player on the record, Steve Garrington.
Okay.
He was very influential in picking the songs for this. That ethereal keyboard.
Yeah, it sounded great.
That's his idea, and that obviously is a huge flavor in the thing. So yeah, I would say Steve Garrington, graduate of UWS. But he's a great player. Played with everyone from Lowe to Koskin and Teague, and he can be a really helpful person as far as figuring out a direction to do something in.
You know, it's amazing how many people that we've had in the studio that either worked at or graduated from UWS.
Mm-hmm.
My nephew is a graduate from there. He graduated about 20-some years ago. Now he's a big shot in the film and TV business out in New York City. And it's like UWS, man. It's so.
Wasn't Arnold Schwarzenegger also a graduate?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
I don't know about that. That's
yes.
true.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if he graduated, but he did go there.
He went to UWS,
okay.
yeah.
Chris Allen, you are so on the board today, man. I'm going to have to be your engineer one of these days.
Right.
Because you got it all going on. Mark, where the hell are you from anyway?
I'm from New York.
Really? Whereabouts?
I was born and raised in the suburbs in Westchester.
Okay.
And then I went to school, a college in Boston. And then I came back and lived back in Manhattan for a bunch of years. But while I was there, I came out to Duluth a couple times because I had some friends that were recording at Sacred Heart.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to make a record here at Sacred Heart. And I was planning on spending the summer, and then I stayed.
What year was that, Mark?
I'm not exactly let's say like we're going, it's like 22 years now, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but something like that.
Now, Westchester County.
Westchester?
Is that Mount Kisco up there somewhere?
Is that the right direction? I don't know all the little suburbs of like Westchester County, and that may be the right direction towards. It's like 20 minutes outside the city. It'd be like if you lived in Gary, and you're like, oh, I come to town. You know,
Right.
Like
you know what's amazing? I went up to Westchester County. I visited my friend Nora Guthrie at Woody Guthrie Publications. Had a nice stay, a great weekend in her house. But once you get on that train,
yeah,
it 15 or 20 minutes, man, you are in beautiful wooded areas.
Totally.
The Hudson River and the gorgeous, the valley, Hudson Valley. It's you go from Harlem,
right,
the inner city, to boom, all of a sudden you're in paradise.
Yeah, you're right. 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Mm-hmm.
So what were you doing? When did you pick up that guitar?
My dad had a guitar around, but I'll say that the most influential part was when I threw a party, whatever, at my house, and an old friend of mine picked up the guitar and played the intro to Stairway to Heaven, and I didn't know that was possible. So that was the most important.
Can you play it?
Stairway, the beginning of Stairway?
Yeah.
It's been a little while, but like, yeah.
We get the idea.
It exists in the brain somewhere. To see someone do that was big.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
You know what? I'm getting a vibe from you, Gartman, because I've seen you perform several times, that you were probably a party guy in high school.
In high school, I would say a hippie. Well, I'm still kind of a hippie, but like drinking, I'm not much of a drinker, certainly not at all now. But I definitely liked being involved in sort of like the fish party world, whatever you want to call that.
Have you seen those guys?
Yeah, sure. I've seen Fish. Yeah, I've seen Fish. Uh-huh.
They're like, they were like, after Garcia died with the Grateful Dead, they really they were positioned well to pick up that mantle.
Well said. Yeah, true. They're on tour right now.
Yeah. No, I see them every now and then on social media. I gotta see a show. I know Anastasia is a great guitar player.
Totally. I caught them. I was hooked since 15, whatever. So.
Have you ever hung out with them guys at all?
No, but I did live on the street where the keyboard player married a woman from his first wife, I think. She lived on the same street that I lived in, and I believe they got married and Fish was there in the backyard. So I do have that.
Well, that's close enough. Now, where did you live when you were in New York City?
So I lived in Manhattan. So first I lived on 16th and 3rd, and then I lived on Thompson and between Bleecker and Houston, down in the village there. So
16th and 3rd, that's right up the street from, it's kind of Alphabet City over there, right?
So Soho, whatever, south of Houston. I was right off of Houston.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. Were you? What years of your life was it? Was that right out of high school?
So that's okay. So college. No, I did college. I went to school in Boston, and then I came back. So let's say, when did I graduate? 98 maybe. So 99. So 99 through 2000 something or other. I'm not sure exactly. But early 2000s, and then moved here.
Well, cool. I just saw Lazy Lightning 420 along with the Teague. And what's the name of the great violin player again?
Who in Lazy Lightning?
Yeah.
The mandolin player.
Yeah.
Eric Berry.
Yeah, he plays a little fiddle though, didn't he?
No, I don't think. Just
mando?
Mostly mandolin. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a cool little band. I just saw that you cats a couple weeks ago. But you brought your guitar. We could talk all day.
Okay.
But I'd love to hear you play whatever you'd love to play.
Why don't I play the title track?
Beautiful.
To Over the Moon.
This is Mark Gartman live on Stars Over the Prairie.
Over the moon, you send me over the moon. Over the moon, you send me over the moon. When I was younger in New York, I played inside a backyard tree. That place had lots of nooks and crannies. It was my favorite place to be. I hid my action figures in it, and one day they just disappeared. I didn't realize who took them, till years later it was clear over the moon. You send me over the moon, over the moon. You send me over the moon. Daniel was my next door neighbor. His sister babysat me. On trips they had me feed their kitties. One time I stole a pan, but I remember telling Daniel about my favorite tree over the moon. You send me over the moon, over the moon. You send me over the moon, over the moon.
Oh man, I love that song.
Thanks, buddy.
Very cool. When did you start writing songs, Mark Hartman?
Let's see. I probably started writing in high school. Yeah, in high school. Yeah, hippie, spin doctors, Fish vibe.
Yeah. So were you around? Were you able to go to wetlands out there?
Yeah, I went to wetlands. Sure. Yeah, before it closed. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's where those guys you
spin
just
doctors,
mentioned.
Blue. I saw God Street Wine. Sure, wetlands, classic hippie location.
Yeah, for sure. What? So you moved out now when you were in high school. Were you kind of? You said you got a little hippiness in your background. Were you like doing a lot of reading the beat poets, and doing that whole routine?
I enjoyed reading some Kerouac for sure. I fell deeply in love with I'm forgetting the name. Not On the Road. He had a couple books. I remember feeling really, really in love with one of his books. Anyway, so reading. What was I reading in high school? Good question. Tom Robbins. I remember like being obsessed with reading.
Besides Playboy.
Besides Playboy, my uncle on my 13th. You want to talk about Play? My uncle on my 13th birthday.
Yeah.
Gave me his Playboy collection.
Wow.
Yeah, probably like 50 or 70 in like a box. Yeah.
And please tell me you sold the collection and raised enough money for your first record.
Where did that collection go? I don't know. That probably ended up. I'm not really sure. But yeah, Playboy. It's Tom Robbins. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Very cool. So what was your attraction? What was the magnet that brought you to Duluth, to Tiltown?
Sure. So, like I said, I come here a couple times. I had some friends that recorded Sacred Heart, and so I wrote some music for Sacred Heart. I was just like, this is going to be great. But before I came out here, I called a Great Northern down on Superior Street, the music store.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I
called them. I'm like, you don't know me? You don't know. I don't know nothing. But I'm looking. If tell me if a name comes to mind. I'm looking for a multi-instrumentalist. Does a name come to mind? And so they said Russ Sackett. And so I reached out to Russ Sackett, and that was the most influential thing that could have happened to me. Because Russ Sackett,
Russ.
Yeah, he was connected to everything.
Yeah.
So it just very quickly started coming together. Like all the signs were like, I think I'm just going to, it just keeps coming together. Now I got a band. Now there's more, as opposed to New York, it's kind of a pain getting things together. Here it was just coming together so quickly, so easily.
I've over the years, I haven't had really a lot of bands. I've been fortunate when I have bands, they stick together for a handful of years. But I remember 2 times in particular where I would be hanging out in the guitar stores, the music stores, because that's what musicians do when they're not, they've got their days free once you start playing. And so you're either in the record stores or the guitar stores. And I found 2 or 3 great musicians just playing. I go, man, you are a great bass player. What's your name? Bobby Duffy. That's who I met. The first guy could really thumb on the bass. And then a guy named Emmanuel, who was just a phenomenal Russian guitar player. Just listening to them play. So, which, brings me to nobody can talk about it more than you, Mark Artman, about what an incredible scene it's been in Duluth here for really forever, but let's say for the last 20 years you've been here. Tell us about what you love about the Twin Ports music scene.
That's a good question. The thing that differentiates me and the scene is where I'm from. So because I'm from New York, getting anywhere, meeting other musics, trying to succeed, trying to book gigs and stuff like that, really complicated, really hard.
Yeah.
And when I came here, like I said, it was just so much easier. There was just so many green lights. And I feel like the best, at least for me, the best way to describe Duluth and the artistic community, is to say that if you do know what you want to do, Duluth will really help you achieve that. I have found, however, that if you don't really know what you want to do, Duluth isn't really going to help you with that. And you may feel a bit rejected and kind of have feelings about Duluth. But I wanted to do music, and I wanted to make records, and I wanted to book shows. And Duluth is like, if that's what you want to do, we can supply opportunities for that.
Are you playing tonight?
Tonight I have a wedding. I do a lot of weddings on weekends, but I'm not playing tonight. I am, however, playing tomorrow for the first night of Homegrown at Harmony, night 1.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Say no more. That's a beautiful... Now, where's Harmony?
Carmody.
Oh, Carmody.
The ill-named everyone calls it Carmody's. That's wrong.
It's okay, Paul.
It's not Carmody's. It's Carmody. So first band of the night at Carmody.
What time?
Dart band. 7:45.
Well, Now I got a bone to pick with you because I usually play there every Sunday from 4 to 6, and that's why I got booted.
Oh.
Okay, we're going to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm all for it. Yeah, 308 East Superior Street, Carmody Irish Pub. It's one of the coolest hangs in town. Who else is on the bill, did you say, Mark?
So we're first, and then I know that this band called God's Holy Blood is on second. There's a third. I'm forgetting who it is. Yeah, so I'm not
just
sure.
go down to Carmody and figure it out. Let's listen to a little bit to take us to commercial. Chris, let's grab another one.
What's a good one to play, Mark?
Let's hear the album version of Over the Moon.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sydney, and I had Z LASIK at Weiss Eye Center. Oh man, camping and like being able to look up at the stars or like wake up to the stars or wake up to the sun and not have to kind of fumble around to see where my glasses are. So I'm looking forward to that eventually. It's like getting out and enjoying nature with sort of no barrier. Oh, the staff were really great. Yeah, it was really always felt pretty taken care of and very friendly staff, and they were answering my questions even if they were like really, really trivial. It's something that you got to have like sort of a bit of trust in this doctor.
Weiss Eye Center is the only clinic to offer blade-free Z LASIK in the Northland. To find out more and to arrange your free consultation, call 218-625-1917 today or visit weisseyecenter.com for more information. Weiss Eye Center. See the best.
Grey Wolf Lodge, located on gorgeous Pelican Lake in beautiful Orr, is the great getaway in northern Minnesota. Featuring affordable, modernized cabins that rent by the week or even a few days, Grey Wolf Lodge is your place to treat the family or just yourself for a relaxing time away from it all. With great fishing, yoga classes, massage, boat rentals, a sandy beach, a common gathering area with a fire pit, and the gorgeous and rustic Grey Wolf Lodge, hosts John and Carol have thought of everything for your unforgettable stay. Give them a call at 1-800-840-9653 or go to greywolflodge.com to see all that they have to offer. Grey Wolf Lodge, your home away from home in the North Woods.
If you're looking for a great hang in downtown Duluth, I highly suggest Carmody's Irish Pub. They're located at 308 East Superior Street, open Tuesday through Sunday. The host and hostess are Eddie and Liz. Eddie is a retired Chicago cop. If he happens to be in the club when you're there, talk to him. He's got more stories than I do. They've also got a great jam session every Tuesday night from 8 to 11 with Bruce Woodman. So if you're a musician, tried and true, that has been out there playing and just want to go try out some new stuff, go down and hang out with Bruce and the crew. Or if you're just up and coming, bring your horn or your stringed instrument or just want to sing. Go sit in with Bruce Woodman every Tuesday night at Carmody's Pub, 308 East Superior Street.
River City Records and Books, voted best record store of 2023 in the Twin Ports by the Duluth Reader, has in stock thousands of new and used vinyl records, from classic rock to punk, grunge and metal to hip-hop, rap, and jazz, reggae, and dub. Thousands of books, CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray, and VHS. Also a large selection of cassettes, comic books, and music magazines. Stop in and see them at 1814 West Superior Street in the friendly Lincoln Park Craft District. Open 9 to 7, 7 days a week.
This is Paul Metson's radio show. This is Elvis Costello. Listen up.
News Talk KDAL. Now back to Stars Over the Prairie with Paul Metsa.
And that wasn't a voice talent. That was actually Elvis Costello. Bumped into him down at the Shelter from the Storm concert. We did celebrating Dylan's Blood on the Tracks 50th anniversary big show at Kane's Ballroom, which was 100 years old, with such luminaries as Elvis Costello and Diana Krall, and I got a chance to play with four of the guys from Blood on the Tracks: Kevin Odegaard, Greg Inhofer, who I will be playing with at the Alhambra on May 20th for Metsa Does Dylan, and Billy Peterson and Bill Berg, Hibbing, Minnesota native. Say, we have a ticket giveaway here for our Benefit for Ukraine on Wednesday, May 14th. If you are the third caller, you will win a $50 first row seat.
Wow.
What is the phone number to call here?
218-722-0839.
Say that one more time.
218-722-0839.
And that's for the Benefit for Ukraine that I organize with myself, Mark and Nancy Rubin, Aaron Aldridge, Christopher David Hansen, and many more, including an act that's going to be with us next weekend on Stars Over the Prairie, the Duluth Superior Harbor Masters.
I always screw them up with the football team. I bet you they did that on purpose.
Those guys are the Harbor Monsters. These guys are singers.
Yeah, but I wonder if the Harbor Monsters said, we're going to be the Harbor Masters. No, that one's taken. All right, we're the Monsters.
Well, they're the average age. Some of them might have played football. I think the average age is 65 or 70, but they're just great guys. Also, we've got a great guest on, Sylvia Borges, who used to be on KDAL back in the 70s on both the radio and television. She's also the mother of Dessa Darling, just a wonderful rapper and writer. I don't know if you're familiar with Dessa.
I know the name, yeah.
Yeah, she's great. Are you familiar with Dessa, Mark?
Sure, yeah, totally.
She's phenomenal. Well, it was her. It's her mother. She also has a show down in Wisconsin. She raises beef, organic cows, the grass-fed cows.
Right.
And
those are the ones that smoke weed, right? The cows?
Well, that's Gartman.
Oh.
Be careful, I would never do that.
Speaking of Mark Gartman, we've got him in the studio. Yeah, so anyway, free $50 ticket to the Ukraine benefit. Call once again, give him the phone number.
218-722-0839.
Right, we'll take the third caller. So, Mark, yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, I moved up to Duluth, almost 4 years ago. Lived in Minneapolis for 40 years, and I've spent time, lived up in Rego Park and in Queens in New York for a year and a half. So I know the New York drill. But I tell people, the thing about Duluth, everything is 10 minutes away. I live in Lincoln Park, but no matter where you want to go to the clinic, you want to go to work, you want to go to the bar, you want to go to the mall, you want to go to the Y, it's 10 minutes away.
That's valid. Yeah, with New York, it was just sort of New York makes those decisions for you.
Yeah,
and I just kind of ran out of steam for that, I guess.
Were you playing at all when you were in New York City?
Sure. Yeah, I was playing.
So whereabouts?
I think I had like a weekly gig at a bar right there on Bleecker Street, and I would record my shows and try and learn. But there was no my very first gig, actually, my very first booked gig. This is a true story. My set was when the sound guy was setting up.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was just very little forward movement with it, and like we've said before, it's just much easier in Duluth.
What was the club?
I think it was called the Acme Underground. They also just sort of downtown there, but yeah, they weren't even open yet. The sound guy was just setting up his stuff, and that was when my set was.
I did my first New York gig in '86 at Folk City, which was just a huge bucket list thing for me. But then when I moved back out there, 95, 96, I played the Sun Mountain Cafe and the Red Lion. Did you ever play the Red Lion?
The only Red Lion that I'm remembering is the one that was on here.
Yeah, right. I drank at that one here in Duluth. Yeah, no, it was, and then I remember it. I played, what the hell was it called? Something like The Back Corner. And it was run by a father and son team. I know they were both named Ernie. And I had been out there for about a year and a half. And they came up to me. They had a bunch of tourists in. And Ernie Sr. said, Paul, can you play any Jimmy Buffett? And I said, I'm in Greenwich Village in freaking New York City.
He said yes.
I didn't come out. No, I said I did not come out to Greenwich Village in New York City to play Jimmy Buffett.
Right.
Which was my last gig there at the back door.
So here's a question
The back
for you.
fence. It was the back fence. What was that?
What song would you have played if you were forced to play Jimmy Buffett?
Well, I mean, anybody can play after several beers at Margaritaville, can't
Right.
they? That's about the only one. Although, you know, he does, Buffett is actually a very accomplished folk. He really came up through the ranks. He does a beautiful version of Pace in the Cage by Bruce Cockburn.
Yeah.
I highly recommend listening to both Bruce's and Jimmy's version of that. Of course, Bruce is at the May 3rd at the West Theater. So we've got the great Mark Gartman here with his guitar. Let's hear another song, man. You sound great for this early in the morning for a musician.
You're so kind. Let's see. Should I play another one from that CD there?
I would.
You
It's
would?
a great way to promote it. It's a different version that nobody else can get anywhere else but listening to the show.
So you're so correct. Let me see Paul, can I see the back of that CD real quick? Right there.
Right there.
I just want to look at and just sort of see. Let's go with this song, Lost at Sea. This is the third song called Lost at Sea. And should I play it? Should I do it?
Well, you know, it's great because we've got a vibe going here because we had Charlie McGuire singing about the Great Lakes. We had
This may be the most musicians we've had on one show.
that are all singing about bodies of water.
Yeah.
Because Drew Anderson from The Climb sang about the Mediterranean, and now we've got Mark Hartman's on.
Lost at Sea. Thank you.
I don't mind giving you all my time. Find yourself back to me. Events unfold, baby, it's hard to know what's coming down the line, but I'm far enough in the ocean to know we're lost at sea, and I'm not coming home. If there's times my hands are tied or stuck between different sides, I'll be the one to walk away. It's not my style anyway, but I'm far enough in the ocean to know we're lost at sea, but we're far enough in the ocean, and I'm not coming home.
Very nice. Very, very nice, Mark Hartman.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Man, I love your singing. I love your playing. I love your songs.
You're very kind to say so.
So, when you're playing solo, because I've heard you with a band, I've heard you with Lazy Lightning 420.
That's a Grateful Dead cover band.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important to add. Yeah.
Yeah. So, But where's your next solo gig? I got to come check it out.
My next solo gig. I may have to look at my phone for that one. Let's see. Sunday. I don't know when my next solo gig is. I'm not good at remembering this stuff off the top of my head. Next question. Or should I keep... You guys are doing something. My next solo gig? I don't know. I'm sorry.
Is there a way that people can go find, like on the web or something, or Facebook,
the web,
so that they can
the
find
Facebook,
out where you're playing?
Gartman, put in Mark Gartman. I don't have a .com per se, but the Facebook and the Instagram, these sort of things. I imagine if you just put Mark, what would happen if you just put my name into Google? That may do it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, as long as you know where you're playing.
If it's in my, as long as it's if there's a dot in my phone, then I know off the top of my head. No, I'm not especially good at that.
Hey, and we got a winner. Our third caller today was Debbie Nelson. Wins a $50 front row seat to the Benefit for Ukraine at Wednesday, May 14th. So let's make sure, Chris, you write that down so I could take it home with me.
Yeah, get a hold of her.
Get it to the. Let's get on.
I think that you should have to come up with another $50 front row ticket for next week.
You know what? Next week we've got 2 front row tickets.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
And of course we got the Duluth Harbor Masters, and we're going to probably find somebody else who's playing at the Homegrown Festival. Man, that's I imagine, Mark Gartman, you played a handful of homegrowns over the years.
I sure have played many, and I'm not as excited about it as I once was, but I used to be so into homegrown back in the day that I wore rollerblades to make more sets. Those days are over, but that was once a very real thing.
Wow. Well, good for you. I remember when I saw Lazy Lightning 420 at the Ripple Bar, which was that was a great place. Now, when did you come up with obviously, who plays music these days of a certain age don't know or dig the Grateful Dead? Well, I know a lot of people that don't dig the Grateful Dead. I particularly love Jerry Garcia. I wouldn't call myself a Deadhead, but I saw the...
well, yeah, you're not following them around the country.
No, but I saw them in 73 at the St. Paul Civic Center, 6,000 people, and I believe they did 3 sets. They had the Wall of Sound.
Awesome.
6,000 people. Garcia's playing that Stratocaster through a twin reverb. And, man, when they went into playing in the band, I believe it was to begin their second set, I said, man, I've never heard music like this. It was first time a white kid really kind of heard jazz, But what was your connection, the Grateful Dead, and the impetus to start Lazy Lightning 420?
Well, the beginning of that was I did a thing called Gartman Plays Dead, was the name, and I thought that it would be cool. For some reason, maybe I knew that Eric Berry was a Deadhead. Maybe we'd had a conversation about it or something, and I said I would like to do the famous Cornell 77 Dead show.
I've got that on vinyl.
Okay, there you go. That's sort of like a famous.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a great. It's awesome. It's great. And so I was like, let's see if we can do this show together. Just play it all the way through.
Cool.
And afterwards, we're like, that was great. Let's keep doing it.
Right.
And so it was.
Kind of like the what's that band? They're out of Chicago. They do
Chicago.
The Dark Store Orchestra.
Oh yes, but totally exactly like DSO as they're known, because they do specific Grateful Dead shows from the past, and Lazy Lightning also, that's our thing too. We play specific shows from the past as well.
So, for example, the last time you guys played, I saw you down at the Bent Panel, my neighborhood hang, love that bar. What show did you pick?
That's Eric is the he's the
archivist guy.
Yes, and it's really helpful to have him, because he'll be like, "Oh, we should do 6/12/86." He can do stuff like that.
Right.
I can't do that. I can do it a little bit. Cornell 77. I can do some things like that, but he's the one that's like, he's like, "What do you think about doing 6/8/86?"
Right.
And I'll look at the thing and I'll say, "It looks great."
How about doing a Dead song?
You want me to do a Dead song?
Yeah.
Sure. Name a Grateful Dead. You want me to do playing? Some folks look for reasons, others look for fights. Others looking treetops, just looking for the kites. I can tell your future, oh, just look what's in your hand. When you're done and over, oh, a man is just a man playing in the band. Daybreak on the land. Some folks look in treetops, others look for fights. Just looking for the fights. I can tell your future, oh, just look what's in your hand. When it's done and over, Lord, a man is just a man playing in the band. Daybreak on the land.
Nice job playing in the band.
Close enough.
You know, the Grateful Dead chestnut by our guest, Mark Artman. Say, I got to shout out my nephew, Jordan Metsa, up there in Virginia, is celebrating his birthday today. So a big birthday wish to little Jordo, the youngest of 4 boys, by my brother John, who runs the Grey Wolf Lodge. And if you are up in Virginia, you got to stop by my favorite bar on the Iron Range, Flamer's Bar, which is on the corner of 2nd Avenue and Chestnut Street. If you're driving in from the south, just take that first right to 2nd Avenue. You'll get to the main drag, which is Chestnut Street, and you will see Flamer's Bar right on the corner. You got a great, you want to do little pull tabs, you want to see some hockey memorabilia, you just want to hang out and have a reasonable cocktail. Go to Flamer's Bar on the corner of 2nd Avenue and Chestnut Street in Virginia, Minnesota. So, Mark, what musicians, you know, you've played with a lot of different musicians in town. Tell us about some of your favorites here, your favorite Tilt Town musicians.
Local musicians? Well, you can't start any list without Alan Sparhawk. I think that's a fine place to start.
He's the king, I think, right?
He was hugely... So the first time I'd heard of Duluth was when I bought, you know, a low record, and it said on the back there was this post office box, P.O. Box 600, Duluth, Minnesota. So that's the germ right there. Right. So Al's influence on many of us is tremendous. And then when I moved here... Let's see, who has really sort of... I mean, so many bands, different people through the year. So let's go with as of late. Let's see. Well, you know what? I play, and she's going to be playing with me on Sunday, Jerry Small, who...
Oh, yeah. Jerry sang with... I did the 4th of July with the Paul Metsa group at Bayfront and Al, and Jerry came up, and a lovely woman named Hallie, who was a friend of Al's, and we did Rockin' in the Free World. And so, yeah, I love Jerry. Great singer.
Yeah, totally. So
and great gal, too. Great gal.
She's in the Gart Band playing at Carmody on Sunday. And so we've been in a band called Coyote for 15, 20 years now. So Jerry and I have been singing many years together, and I love what she does.
Give her my best, please.
I will give her. I will do as such. Let's see, who else? You know who I haven't seen, but I can't remember his name. This pretty wild range guy who just did that sort of play.
Steve Sokola.
You knew right away.
I call him the pride of the pride of Palo.
Have to go
as soon as everybody says wild or off the tracks or whatever, you know it's Steve.
Right. No, man, this guy and he's really a good musician.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, he plays in a variety of styles, but he's a great accordion player, great singer. Knows his, you know, he's a Finlander that can sing in Finn. In fact, we're going to open the Ukraine benefit on May 14th at Sacred Heart. He couldn't make it, but he is recording the Ukrainian national anthem in Ukrainian for us.
Completely believe it.
The first time I saw him, I'm actually playing up at with my band, Cats from the Stars, our 50th anniversary this year. Oh my God, how old am I? At Land of the Loon, on, I think it's that Saturday, June 21st, I believe. But the first time I saw Steve was about 5 years ago up there, and he showed up on I don't know if it was a skateboard or it was a little kid's Stingray bike, playing his accordion, and I think he had a cymbal hat. So, yeah, incredible guy. The pride of Palo. Hey, before we get you to play one more song, Mark Artman, what are some of your influences outside the Twin Ports? The big ones.
Sure. I would say the two big names that come to mind off the top of my head is Will Oldham, Bonnie Prince Billy,
sure,
and Pat Metheny.
Metheny?
I'm going with Will and Pat.
Rock on, man. Bright Size Life.
Bright Size Life.
All day long.
I got it signed by him.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No.
I saw Pat Metheny at the Longhorn Bar in Minneapolis, which was that's one of the big punk clubs that opened up in about 1973 or 74. Elvis Costello played there. The Ramones played there. And one night, the Pat Metheny group, but Danny Gottlieb on drums showed up. Blew my mind. In fact, when I was walking in, Pat was right behind me, so I opened the door for Pat Metheny. And then years later, I was out in Greenwich Village hanging out and playing somewhere. And Club 55, which was next to, it used to be called the Lion's Head, and now it's called the Kettle of Fish, right down from the Stonewall Tavern. It was a little jazz club called Club 55. And I walked in there one night, and Mark Egan was playing bass.
Nice.
Yeah.
His bass player, his old bass player.
We got to tell you, you got any Metheny bootlegs?
I don't think I have them anymore, but back in the day, I was pretty nuts, so I was really into Pat. And
oh, yeah.
I don't want to say I stalked him, but I'll tell you one. Okay, sure. On his birthday, here you go. Here's an example. So I'm like 18 maybe, and I knew where his manager's office was in Boston, and so I ate my lunch on the steps of the manager's hall on Pat's birthday, hoping he'd show up.
That's my kind of guy.
Right, just like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So yeah, and I was the same with Will Oldham too, just sort of like, I'm cool. Cool. You're not cool. You're not cool, man. So yeah, I had Pat Metheny bootlegs for sure.
Oh,
yes.
Man, Bright Size Life. We got Mark Gartman on. Just track him down. He plays all over town. We're lucky to have him, and we're going to ask him to play one more acoustic song.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do Drop D.
Drop D. He's retuning, detuning the guitar.
Good enough.
You can listen to past shows on KDAL610.com. Follow me. I've got the Big Dylan Show at the Alhambra Theater, just reopening up that theater on May 20th. Greg Inhofer and Sonny Earl. And then I will be back at Carmody Pub on the week after tomorrow from 4 to 6 with my friends Liz and Eddie, Tracy, and the gang. All right, Mark Hartman, what do you got for us, brother?
I'll do another one from the Gart Band. This one's called Bedroom Talk.
Take your baby and you hold her close in your arms. You tell her lies and you talk tales in the dark. Don't float too far away. Regret things you'll say. That bedroom talk gets you in trouble each day. Bedroom talk, bedroom talk. That bedroom talk keeps you in trouble each day. each day. Bedroom talk.
Bedroom Talk by Mark Gartman, live on Stars of the Prairie. That's a beautiful song, man. A really beautiful song. That's kind of a kind of seductive if you played that.
A seductive lullaby.
It's called Bedroom Talk. That's right.
Anyway, we got Homegrown right around the corner here. They're going to lighten up the clubs here in Tiltown and over in Superior. I'm going to do some Wednesdays at the Cedar Lounge, run by my good friend Tim Nelson, who his alter ego Timothy Martin's going to be playing at the Ukraine benefit. Follow me at paulmetsa.com. You can track down my books and records where those things are sold. We got a great show next week with the Duluth Superior Harbor Masters, an act from Homegrown, and Sylvia Borges, who used to be on the air on KDL in the 70s and the mother of the great Dessa Darling. Thanks for listening. I want to thank Chris Allen for being here, Mark Gartman, Drew Anderson from The Climb, and Charlie McGuire. And like my dad used to tell me, remember to be kind and make someone happy.
And I wish I could see stars over the prairie, stars over the prairie tonight. And I wish I could see stars over the prairie.